This is Artie Brute, and today I'm going to be playing Keep On Mining. This game has a large skill tree, a progressive system, making it easier and easier to mine for ore. So let's check it out. We start with only 15 seconds. Wherever you hover your mouse, the little circle, that's where you're going to be able to mine. And you're trying to focus on the gold and the gold speckled ore. You get around 6 or 7 for the full gold, 3 to 5 for the speckled, and 1 to 2 for just the blanks. If you're lucky, you'll find an artifact, so every 25th ore mined will be worth double value. And so every little bit helps. First thing we're going to upgrade is the more rocks. We started at 37, and now we're up to 55. We also unlock talents, which are passive upgrades. The energy drink gives you a double mining chance, only 6% for 3 seconds. That's pretty bad. Or we get some more XP. Let's get the XP so we get more talents, can get better choices. We also unlocked another artifact, which gives us 10 more rocks spawned, which is perfect because that's what we're doing right now. So up to 60, 65, 75 rocks. Let's see what this looks like. We're up from 37 rocks, which we started at, and there's a lot more speckled and gold ore, just because there's more rocks and more chance that they'll become one of those upgrades. Every ore you find is actually divided by 3, and they become the gold bars, and that's what you spend the money on. We also found a relic, which will improve our pickaxe by 4%. The current pickaxe has frequency, power, and probably the area size is the most important. So let's continue upgrading the rocks, from 75 up to 103, up to 127, and let's see what that looks like. We also earned another talent, the camper. The campfire will kill the rocks around it instantly. That's actually very good, or potentially good, because the rocks can respawn later on, and if they spawn around the campfire, it has a chance to feed into itself. So it could be very good. This is what it looks like from 75 to 127 rocks. It's not as many gold and gold speckles as I would hope, but you can increase their chance bit by bit. So we got 17 bars that time. And let's add even more rocks, up to 143, and we can increase the gold rock chance. And the 2 biggest upgrades are going to be ore value, doubling it, and unlocking a new ore. So we'll have to farm a bit for that. Get 100 bars for each of those, and we increase the gold chance from 11% to 11.4%. So it's a very small upgrade, but it does help that we have so many rocks. We went from 127 up to 143 now. And we got 22 gold bars. So let's increase the value all the way to max. 500% more value. We could spawn more rocks, or we could just increase the gold chance from 11.4 up to 13%. So we can spawn more ore from each rock, increase the value again, and a chance to spawn rocks when you mine a rock, up to 6%. We also got a third talent. Gain 1 of 4 random buffs, which is pretty good, but I don't even know what those are. And the hammer has a very small chance to instantly mine. That could be good too. Let's just get the hammer time. And let's see what this looks like. Got a bit more speckled rocks now. But the main thing we did is upgrade our value by 500%. So we should shatter our 22 bars that we got last time. And we just saw our first hammer too. But we got 75 bars. That is pretty good. And we found our next artifact, the Royal Ring. 4% chance to double XP. And we saved up 500 bars to unlock the mine. So every 15 seconds, we'll get 2 bars. But it is affected by the gold value. So instead of 2 bars, we're actually going to get 10 bars. Because we got 500% right now. We found another artifact as well, and it'll spawn a rock every 0.7 seconds. So let's get some more XP, increase the base stats of our pickaxe by 113%, make the circle a little bit bigger, up to 110%, chance to spawn a rock, 12%, unlock copper finally. We cannot afford the value, but we can increase the gold rock chance from 4.2 up to 5.7. So now we got copper, we got gold, and our circle is actually a bit bigger. So we can hit more things with all the rocks we purchased. And we have spawning rocks every half second or so, and we also have respawning rocks. So every time we destroy one and mine it, there's a 12% chance it'll come back. But you can already see them popping up quite a bit. Got 150 gold bars, 50 copper bars, and we also unlocked another artifact, the gold ring. A 1.1% chance that the ore will only use 1 to craft a bar instead of the 3. That's pretty good, but the chance is so low. So let's increase the ores that we get, +1 for each the solid and the speckled. And let's increase the value from 500 to 700%. That should be about a 40% increase. So it's not going to be double. But it really depends on where the rocks spawn, how much they clump. So there's a lot of factors in how much you get per session. Oh, we got about 150 gold bars last time, and we should destroy that. We got 215, that's pretty good. We also unlocked another talent, the D100. When you roll a 1, 10, or a 100, so a 3% chance, it'll ×5 all your ore. That's pretty good. It's just RNG, but when it does hit, it's going to be pretty huge. So let's get an extra talent every 5 levels, which is not retroactive, so that's very sad. Let's get more ores, and increase the value again, from 700 to 900%. So we didn't just increase the value, we also increased the amount we get. So they're just feeding into one another, and getting more and more gold every single time. It also helps our mine. Even though the mine is a bit slow, I would like to heavily invest into it just to see how good it could be. The passive income from it. Because the mine's working right now while we're playing. 276, up from 215. That is pretty good. Let's increase the value from 900 to 1500. 4% chance to spawn a random pickaxe when a pickaxe hits. Send out a small circle. We can also increase the chance for instantly mining by 3%. Let's make the mining size even bigger, as well as spawning the 1 rock every 1.3 seconds, up to 112, as well as making our pickaxe a bit better, 117%. But now we've unlocked lightning and lightning beams that we're working towards. And that'll change the game quite a bit, because so far we've just been doing pickaxes, more rocks, more value, so we're just been getting more and more and more. It's the first time we had the little circle fly out too. The little circle is just a mini version of us, so it sends out pickaxes, and now that we have a chance for pickaxes to pickaxe the pickaxe, we can eventually get pickaxe inception, I hope. Yeah, we got 800 bars that time, wow. So let's automatically mine a rock every 0.9 seconds, and spawn a rock every 0.6 seconds. Unlock some iron, and increase the rock count again. I do love my rocks. Up to 161 from 143, and let's unlock our first lightning. So every hit has a 0.07% chance, which is very tiny. To send out lightning, that does double damage. And there it was. That was exciting. But every upgrade increases that chance by another 0.07%. So it'll go 0.14, 0.21, and it should become a lot more frequent. At the moment, it only triggers off of pickaxe hits, so it can't feed into itself too much. But we got 1,000 bars, rolled a 28, so we didn't get ×5 there. Can make the miner twice as fast, and an 8% chance for double bars. I kinda like that. Higher chance to find artifacts. There's only so many artifacts in the game, I don't think that's very useful. So let's invest in the lightning. 0.14%, and a 10% chance that will spawn every second. Increase the damage, and we buffed it up to 0.21% now. Could get more rocks. So a guaranteed 1 rock every 5 mined, and a 17% chance that it'll just respawn on its own automatically. So let's upgrade the mine. Started at 15 seconds and 2 bars. Now we're at 12 seconds and 6 bars. But that was getting pretty spendy pretty fast. And the blue ones are automatic, and the red ones are chance-based. But it's a combination of the lightnings. It does speed up our mining quite a bit. And we haven't upgraded value, we've just increased the damage that we've dealt. So we just mine faster. We had about 8,000 last time, and we're up to 1,800. Rolled a 74, so we didn't get the 5 times chance there. We got another artifact. One more extra talent every 5 levels, which once again is not retroactive, so that is very bad. But we've saved up 8,000 gold bars. Increase our talents once more. 188 rocks. And let's throw it all into the mines. 8 bars at 10 seconds now. So not a lot has changed since the last time we mined. But our mine is bigger and better. So we're making a lot more passive income. The extra talent points per level is very bad because as you get higher and higher in the levels, it costs more and more XP. So you kind of get punished for investing in XP and levels early on when it's the easiest to get levels. So we finally hit our dice. We got ×5 output and 8,000 gold bars. We also got enough talent for another point. And I think out of these, I'm going to get the Midas Touch, with a chance to make the Cursor gold, which when it hits with a pickaxe, there's a 25% chance to just spawn a free ore, which would be very good if we hit the dice as well in that same run. So let's increase the ore value. Went from 1,500 up to 2,200. And the chance to respawn a rock on mine starts at 17, and it goes up to 29%. So we're getting closer and closer to rockception. Last time we had the ×5 from the dice, had 8,000 bars. So if we get about half of that from the value increase, we'd be doing pretty good here. But you can already see the rocks spawning and respawning pretty quickly. We also have a small chance to add 1 second to the time while we mine. And we got 3,000 bars. That's not bad. ×5 that would be 15k. We also unlocked another artifact, a 2% chance to do double damage, and a 1% chance to instantly mine. We also got another talent. Higher chance to find artifacts, I think that's terrible. Every second there's a 5% chance to spawn 15 lightnings. So we're going really hard into the lightning build. We can also craft our very first pickaxe. It's got double the power, attacks a bit faster, and about 50% bigger area size. So that's a pretty big improvement. Go from 2,200 value up to 3,400, and up to 4,600. The big value upgrade costs 300k gold. So let's just spawn more rocks. Get a 0.1% chance to spawn dynamite on a hit, which we can increase the damage, the size, and give a 10% chance that the explosions will spawn a smaller explosion. So let's spend the rest of the money in our mines. Up to 16 bars at 7 seconds now. And that doesn't really account for our increase in value, so it's a lot more than 16 bars. But our circle is much bigger now. We should be doing double damage, and the pickaxe strength has a direct relationship to the blue and red lightning, as well as the explosions, which I haven't really seen too many of those, but it's only got a 0.1% chance. The lightning was 1.5 times damage, and the explosions were 1.2. So we got 13k gold bars that time. That's pretty good. And we got another artifact. Improves the mine, and now mines 5% faster. So let's keep investing into the mine. 16 and 7 seconds. To 20 bars and 6 seconds. We're out of gold, but we can still increase the lightning size, and the chance that it'll trigger by itself every second. So it went from 40 to up to 90%, that's a lot. Increase the size to 175%, and the chance for dynamites from 0.1% up to 0.3. So we should actually see some of those now. But we should have constant lasers as well. A 90% chance that one will just randomly spawn every second. The size would also imply that it can hit more than one block, I kind of assumed that's what the benefit of the dynamite would be. That's why it does a little bit less damage. But all of these trigger off of pickaxe hits, and not necessarily themselves. Lightning doesn't feed into more lightning. The explosions sort of feed into more explosions though, but smaller explosions. Yeah, so last time we had 13k, and now we're up to about 22, 23k. And we got another artifact. Increases the chance by 3% that an ore will be completely copper, gold, iron. So that's very strong. Even with these shop upgrades, they're only like at 4.5% now. So we could get the shapeshifter, make our area bigger, but I think I'm gonna get the sign. Give a random buff to our mine. So we actually had 2 talent points saved up. There's an 8% chance every second that the mining size will increase by 40%. That sounds really fun. So now there's a 17% chance that lightning will send out little sparks. Lightning will increase the timer, which the timer doesn't really matter, because you can always just mine again for free. But let's increase the ore count, +2 for each ore we find. Increase our stats by 10% for our pickaxe, and our mining size by another 10% as well. The chance for dynamite triples to 0.9%, and the explosions are bigger. So let's check out what this looks like. So we have a much bigger area size, especially when that 40% triggers, and our base stats are better. We still don't have a ton of explosions though, but 0.9% is pretty tiny. We get more lightnings over anything else, and we're strong enough now that we can just kind of sweep back and forth and collect whatever ores we want. But last time we had 22k bars, and we broke into 46k this time. That's more than double. So let's spend our talent point. And I really don't like the energy drink, and I've taken the Gildan chest before and I thought it was pretty bad. So let's just make everything 7% cheaper. Let's increase the value from 5k to 6.2k. Unlock uranium. Increase the number of rocks to 251. We started at 25 rocks, and now we have a 4% chance to spawn a plasma ball, which is similar to the little circle we send out, but it only does 75% damage. And this is the first time we've actually got the gilded golden mouse. So we now have a 25% chance just to get a free ore every time we mine. So that's a lot of extra. Hopefully we can roll the dice as well, and times 5 all this ore that we got, because we have a ton right now. We already were at 200k. Last time we had 46k bars, and now we're up to 84k bars. And that was probably a lot from the Midas Touch. We also got the artifact. Reduce rock durability by 3%. That just makes us stronger. Increase the value from 6200 to 8k. Give us a 10% chance that explosions will lead to more explosions. And give us an 8% chance for those plasma balls, which I don't think I've seen one yet. But we doubled the chance, so we should be able to see one. And there's our first one. It travels very slowly. It also doesn't count as a pickaxe hit, so it's kind of just its own thing. But every little bit helps. The lasers and the lightning is probably the best thing we got going for us. And last time with the Midas Touch, we got 84k. And just because our increase in value, increase in damage, we got it to 85k. So we're doing pretty good. Got another artifact. It makes the pickaxe power 6% stronger, which also feeds into the dynamite and the lightning. So I'm not a big fan of these last 2 upgrades, so let's get the potions and see what kind of buffs it'll randomly give us. The next thing we're going to get is an increased spawn chance by 5% of their current spawn chance, and we can unlock 3 different ores: Painite, Ismium, a red, a blue, and another red, Iridium. But let's spin a rock every 3 seconds, and now we have 3 ore that we're working towards. The potion makes the ore worth 700% more, which is probably additional. Currently we have 8,000% value, so we'd get about 10% more value, which isn't a ton. It's not bad though, but it would have been a massive upgrade early on, when we had barely any value. So potions might be the way to go early on, because that buff is kind of insane. Last time we had 85k bars, and this time we have 103k. So we're improving bit by bit. Let's get another talent. And this time let's definitely get the Shapeshifter. 6% increased size, and we get a random shape as well. We can unlock the blue ore, the Ismium. And we can increase our mine as well. Up to 24 bars at 4.5 seconds. Instead of 24 bars, we're actually increasing that by 8,000%. And we're getting about 2k bars every 4.5 seconds. Which isn't massive, but it does help. Especially if you just leave your computer on, walk away from the game, or you get extra mining while you're mining. But I'd really like to get that down to around a second or less, and just start generating a ton of free resources. That sounds really fun. So last time we were at 103k, we're up to 108k. We didn't improve much, but we did unlock the blue ore. And we can finally get a new pickaxe, and skip ahead 2 levels. So we go from 7.8 to 8.2 power, 3.28 to 3.29 mining area. Well, let's increase those stats even further, from 152 to 170%, and increase plasma ball chance from 8% to 12%, and increase its size to 160%, and a 13% chance that the plasma ball will just spawn a smaller plasma ball. So we're getting little improvements here and there. A stronger base damage with the pickaxe will make everything stronger. The lightning, the dynamite, and the size of course helps. And when we get the extra 40% size, we're pretty massive. But I'm not sure we need to get all that much stronger. We're already sort of decimating these ore here. And the main thing we upgraded was the stats of the pickaxe. Even though they didn't improve a lot, they had a strong effect. Last time we had 108k bars, and this time we had 152k bars. That's like a 50% improvement, with a 10% improvement on our pickaxe. So we could make the pickaxes cheaper, or just increase all the stats of our artifacts, and they do a ton of different things. Get the mine down to 3.5, and let's increase the value from 8,000 to 11.6 thousand, and also increase the number of ores we get. So now we get one more ore from the solid chunks and the speckled chunks. I really hope we can hit one of the Midas touches, or roll a good dice for the 3% chance at 5 times resources, because that will skyrocket us up, giving us close to 1,000,000 bars, and that'd be some big improvements. We got the 700% increased ore from the potion this time, as well as upgrading our value and increasing the ore we get. So we went from 152k bars up to 275. That's almost double. That is pretty good. And we can skip 2 more levels in the pickaxe again, from 9.19 power up to 10.78, and 3.66 size to 3.89. There's only 3 more pickaxes left, with the last one being a mystery. So out of these, I think I'd rather get the chest. 0.5% chance that a rock will be a chest, and it'll just give you 25 ore. We're up to a 61% chance that rocks will respawn on mine. We can unlock iridium, the red ore, and a 20% chance that the lightning will spawn a dynamite. We've also got the mine down to 3 seconds, but it's getting very spendy. 5 million for the next upgrade. So I'm not sure we can get it much lower. Easily at least. But look at our pickaxe strength. And now that the lightning causes explosions, they kind of feed into themselves a bit. The next upgrade we would need is to have the explosions cause the lightnings. That would keep it going full circle. We broke 1,000,000 ore. So divide that by 3. Last time we had a 275k bars. And this time we're up to 472k. Yeah, so we almost doubled it again. But we can unlock the Painite, the final ore I believe, and increase the value from 12.5k up to 14.3k. And out of these, I don't really like the first 2. Let's get the Potion Sugar. We drink all 4 types of potions and get all of their buffs at the same time. Let's see what effect that's going to have. And so we get an 800% value, 10% more pickaxe stats, 20% more XP, and a 3% chance for double XP and ore. Those are all pretty good. And the potions are scaling for some reason. because the value gain used to be 700, and now it's up to 800. Look how big our circle is. It is just massive. We already blasted past a million ore. But the value upgrade was pretty big. We got around a 20% with the potion. We're up to 2 million ore now, wow. And it got that big circle going on. It's only supposed to last 2 seconds. But if it triggers back to back, it'll stay that way. And so last time we had 472k bars. And we're up to 1.1 mil now. That is more than double. It's almost 3 times. And so let's increase our value from 14.3 to 18.5. Up to 22.1. Up to 27.5. That is almost double. And the Mad Lad actually did it. 10% chance that dynamite explosions will lead to a lightning. Increase the plasma ball chance up to 27%. Plasma balls will spawn explosions at 17%. And they'll also trigger the pickaxes at 4%. There's also a 12% chance that the lightning will trigger a lightning. So we definitely have a lightning inception now. Our pickaxe strength is massive. Our circle size is huge. And the explosions can make lightnings, and the lightnings can make explosions. We're already back up to 3 million ore. Our value doubled. And look how many plasma balls are on the screen now at once. The big ones and the little ones. We've got a bunch of passive interactions that just help us out. But I think the strongest mechanic is the respawning rocks. Got a 60 or 70% chance that the rocks will just come back, and that keeps us going. We almost broke past 10 million ore. Last time we had 1.1 million bars. This time we got 3.4 million. And that's triple the amount. So we can unlock the big rock if we get enough painite. Make it so that the ore only uses 2 instead of 3. And now we spawn a rock every 0.2 seconds. And our very next run, we got the ×5 dice. So we got 22 million bars. And that pushed us to get the rest of the upgrades. So we can make the ore even better. From 3 to 2. Upgrade the big rock. And get our last 2 pickaxes as well. So we're currently at 12.08 power. This one's already one higher, 13. And let's get the final pick as well. This one's at 14.6 power. So another 1.6 power gain. And there's a final pick which I don't know how to unlock. But let's go check out the big rock. Yeah, it's a big rock. I didn't know what I was expecting. I'm not sure the size matters here at all. But occasionally you can see some dynamite as well. I think spawning from the lightning. So we got some diamond. And it just gives us a free pickaxe, I see. Well, that's pretty cool. I guess that's the end of the game. But I would like to check out that pickaxe. So its stats are not that much crazy from our last one. A bit more power. Slightly faster. And better area size? Well, let's see what it looks like. This is with the final pick, and with all upgrades. So I'm still not sure that we're one-shotting, but it is pretty close. This is also my favorite shape. It walks around the map very nicely. Fits on the edges. You just can't get the right corner and the left corner, but everything else fits really nicely into it. And when you get the 40% increase, you are just massive. Also spent quite a bit of gold on the mine. Got it down to around 2.5 seconds, but it's still not very good. I felt pretty bad for investing as heavily as I did, because it did not pay off. So last time we had 22.4 million, but that was ×5. Now we got 6.4 million, and if we ×5 that, we'd be up to 32 million bars. So that's pretty good, but that's also about the limit. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.